So this week, two things came out for me. One was gratitude, like the bigger picture concerning gratitude in relationships. So I realized the other thing was who I am or who I have been all my life in relationships was the person who gave everything and expected nothing. So that kind of trained the person I was in a relationship with not to give me anything or not to contribute to me in a way that I could be comfortable too. And I find that I think if we kind of do that, it even creates a person who might just be there to draw from you. Even if the person doesn't start out that way or may not be that way, I think we can create them as that if we don't require people to contribute to us or to share with us or to partner with us in an equally powerful way. When what happens is because we are in a relationship with the universe first, however we're being in our relationship with the universe is what's going to start being in front of us. So if I'm not expressing gratitude for all of the things that the universe is adding to me or gifting to me, the first thing they're going to do is send me a mirror. Okay. So this week, my conversation was my relationship with my daughter. And so, of course, I'm in a relationship with all of our parent, the big parent, right? The universe. So, of course, now if I'm expressing that my daughter was not being A, B, C, X, Y, Z, now when I took a look this week to see how is that my information or where am I being like this, it's obvious that I didn't have the gratitude I thought I was exhibiting with the universe. And so that's why the mirror for a lack of gratitude this week showed up for me in my house. And like I said, this is an inside conversation. So everybody on here, they kind of know why I said that. But at the same time, if you wasn't in on the conversation during the week concerning this, you still could, this could still hit you powerfully. So I'm going to ask anyone that's on the call, after I said that just now, what are you thinking about? What came up for you? Or what can you add to that to expand this conversation?
I don't want to say what you said. What I heard was something like whatever you put out there is what you're can end up seeing. The way it shows up in my life is, there's a lot of debates out there today, whether it's politics, whether it's about the health, whether it's health because of politics, all that stuff together, regardless of my opinion or view at any moment, especially on Facebook or even in regular conversations, regardless of how smart I am, if I'll be smart, that's what I'll get back. So I'm smarter. So it's either win or lose a conversation will make no difference. Now, what I mean as a mirror is what's my intent? Who am I being? What's going on when I communicate? What am I interested in? Am I interested in winning the argument? I will strengthen the other side much more. So the mirror happens by what I'm actually doing, not how smart I'm sounding. So if I'm caring and I say something out of caring and it's evident because I'm not like fighting or arguing, right? And if you look, I only brought up one, opinion on my Facebook. Usually it's just the views. I wasn't interested I was interested in everybody giving their view and perhaps opening up something new they didn't see. But I don't want to get off track, but the bottom line is what I'm communicating, not how smart I'm sounding. What I'm communicating is what's going to come back. And when I communicate that, people do open up and reconsider different things. I don't care what it is, but it's just the act of not being so strong into what it is that they are holding on to. So that's how I see it. It's a mirror of who you are in the conversation, much more than what you're saying in the conversation.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. The intention, yeah, the essence. Thank you for that.
Greetings, family. Greetings, everyone. Such an honor to be on this morning. Well, this afternoon. In my mind, it's morning, okay? Because I'm just having tea. But I love the idea of you definitely going to see who you be. I love that. You're going to see who you be. A matter of fact, it brought me present to a conversation I was just having with mom, just around how we show up for each other, you know, as far as entrepreneurs, right? And you know, it's funny you talked about this conversation of gratitude being in the space, right? So this week I was speaking a lot to my clients about just being grateful for more than just waking up. Can you say you're grateful for more than that? Because so much of the dope stuff is happening in life. Can we say more? So my client made a joke. She said, well, I'm happy I have bread and butter. I'm like, hey, okay, that's something else rather than I'm happy for waking up. Yes, I understand that gratitude, but all week I'm like, what else are you grateful for besides waking up? Because life is super dope. However, we're out here playing it. It's super dope. We need to just take a minute and just be grateful for whatever moment. I said, I'm grateful for my clients allowing me in their homes. They don't have to do that. My service is concierge, and it's a pandemic. And they're allowing me in their homes. I'm eternally grateful for that. But in listening, I saw people are grateful for more. They're just scared to tell each other. Are you guys experiencing that kind of gratitude? I'm scared to tell you I'm doing good.
Well, I think it's more than that. I think if we look at the bigger picture, right? Because people right now, some people have lost jobs, they don't have money, so money's a thing, right? So I
Yes.
find myself constantly in conversation with people and letting them know that money does not come from jobs or unemployment office. It comes from your consciousness. So if we are in a reciprocal relationship with the universe, which is where the money is actually coming from, then our responsibility is to express the gratitude to the universe. Never mind telling the neighbor, hi, I'm grateful you picked up your trash. It's bigger than that.
And I am grateful that they picked up the trash, by the way. You know I'm grateful. Yes, it is the allowance in the isness, just the allowance in the isness of what is already, what's already playing out before us. We don't have to be in contrast with everything. We could be grateful for just the way it is, because just the way it is always working for us. The reason I speak about sharing gratitude is just so someone else could know that you're grateful for something. And that is kismet. That's like we can share that. That's a sharing that we have, an offering. You know what I'm saying? That we can let out. Because a lot of folks, yes, there are people all over my community. When I say, hey, good morning, how you doing? Hey, good evening, how you doing? They're like, child, I'm just grateful for life. And I get that because I'm also in a space of gratitude for life. What I'm saying to my community is open up your gratitude just a little bit bigger and be grateful for the businesses that are here serving us continuously. You know, even in a space where I'm showing my nephews, right? Just last year, you were saying to me you were not getting an allowance, right? And look how the universe provides. You got $600 that your mom can now give you this allowance throughout a pandemic. You had no money last year. You were just complaining. So the gratitude is, look what happened for me during a pandemic, during a time where people are focused on being in a state of lack. I was provided for. So there are other places to be grateful. It's just we're kind of feeding each other, just being grateful for life. Like it's small, but it's huge. It's a big thing.
So now, right? So understanding that we these relationships that we have are much smaller translations of the big relationship that we are actually having with the universe. So, in other words, what I find out is something's missing at a particular time with inside my relationship with the universe. It'll show up as missing in my smaller relationships that I have every day, because I find that the smaller relationships I'm having every day with coworkers, family members, they are they're like indicators to keep me on track with what's actually happening between me and the universe.
The universe does send, like you said, indicators to keep you aware of what's really going on and what the bigger picture is. For me, right now, during this time of seclusion, I've been looking for the indicators, really, because I've been pretty good at keeping my focus and keeping my mind space clear so that I can have a higher sense of awareness and a clear, I would say, valve to the universe, so I can keep my conscious and my spirit man free, so I can hear or be shown whatever the universe wants to show me for myself, about myself, about any situation that usually happens. It's been happening a lot since we've been in a seclusion.
What have you seen?
I've seen how sometimes I can be very impatient, and how some areas are calling for me to be more patient in terms of my career and in terms of my relationships with my family members. There's a lot of times where I've just been sitting and reflecting. You know, I was talking to my friend the other day about this 2020 vision test, about whether or not a lot of people are passing the test or we are failing this 2020 vision test, to see what's most important. Are we seeing what really matters? Are we seeing what you know what's important, or are we just focused on things that don't matter? Are we focused on things that are minute? Are we focused on things that is our vision? Are we really seeing something, or are we seeing an illusion of something in terms of, well, really
Well,
speaking
that's a
in
whole
terms of
nother
like
conversation.
politics?
Yeah, that conversation is going to have its own call.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real good. That's good. So this call is to help us see the big picture. So relationships and the relationships personal relationships that we have, this call is to try to help us to connect with creating ourselves as an instrument for attracting exactly the relationships that we're looking for. So a lot of times we're not sure, we may be doing something or not be doing something that is keeping us from attracting or becoming the instrument to attract all of the relationships. So this call is to kind of help us to keep checking in and going inward to see what it is that we could be working on within ourselves in order to create ourselves as someone who can attract whatever we would like to have. So I found out that I was attracting relationships with people who were just comfortable with me doing everything, and them having to do nothing. And so now I said, I don't like that. I'm not comfortable. I need somebody to contribute to me. What about me, right? So then I had to start looking at that too. Like, hey, wait a minute. That's more the same conversation. It's just turned backwards. So like that's what this call is. It's like an alarm, to just start waking us all up to the things that we may not have been seeing, so that we could all start getting to the business of, being in love. Yeah. I remember I had a boyfriend and he tried to tell me, he said, you know, there's nothing anybody can do for you. And I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, you know, you just do everything for yourself all the time and it doesn't leave space for other people to do things for you. And so people think that you don't need them. And I said, why would they think that? I do need them. If they see me doing everything, they should come and say, hey, don't do everything. Let me help you. And he said, no, it doesn't work that way.
I think when it comes to gratitude, we should actually honor and appreciate it. Because one, we should honor the fact that we are able to do that and actually take the time to be grateful. Because I believe that being grateful is the foundation for everything else. Because if you're not grateful, you might get into a scarcity mindset and saying there's not enough. And so you go out of the abundance mindset. And once you're in the scarcity mindset, then you're always hoarding or trying to hold things on, and you're not opening yourself up to the universe. And in appreciating it, I think that we should appreciate it because of the fact that a lot of people don't appreciate being grateful or having an opportunity to be grateful because they don't know. Like if you're in a position that if you can't breathe and someone gives you oxygen, then you're going to be grateful. So you should look at it that way when it comes to being grateful. Everything that you have in your life, you should be grateful for because there are people that don't have it. There's someone right now taking their last breath and you're taking yours and you're able to breathe. You have more breath in you. And so if you start looking at life that way, then you start being grateful for the little things that you have in your life. Because sometimes we take it for granted and we just say, hey, you know what? We just have it. But there are people, I mean, most of us here, we're in the US. So there's other countries out there that people don't have what we have. So if you start looking at that and say, hey, let me be grateful for the little things and practice the being grateful every single day. First thing when you wake up, you know, have the 10 questions about what could you be grateful about for today? What could you be grateful for about right now in your life? What could you be grateful for that you're going after that's coming into your life? And I think the more you put that into your life, the more of an abundance mindset you get into.
I wanted to jump in right there, George, because that ties in real well with what Tanya was saying. Wow, that's great. I just wanted to take a moment to be with that for a second. This call is vibrating so dope about gratitude, but what I feel like I'm listening to is that we're not lacking for gratitude. What we are feeling though is that the people around us might be lacking for gratitude. Some things might be out for those that are around us. Clearly, you're on this call because you're grateful for access to Tanya, right? Otherwise, why would you spend your Sunday here? Right? So there's already the vibe of gratitude here. So it's not out in this space. It might be out with the people that's around us. You know,
If it's out with the people around us, it's out with us because the people are around us because they're us.
Yes, I'm coming to that.
So we are here doing the work
For
to rectify that for ourselves, and we don't have to do anything because once we rectify this in ourselves, it will clean itself and everybody else who comes around.
What she said.
You know, like this week, it was my daughter being ungrateful, right? I don't have to do anything and I don't have to speak about that with her. All I have to do is clear it with myself, and then she will show up having apologized for that or realized it in herself. There's nothing I need to do that involves her with this. You know, yeah, I have to look at it in me.
That's us being the cause in all matter.
Mm-hmm. And I have to tell you, right? I'm a person that I don't hesitate to look at myself. When something happens, immediately I go into how's this my information? I'm trained to do that. Jaja is too. He's not looking. But the minute that I did that, the universe sent me $1,000. Okay. It was in my checking account and I was looking, I was scrolling. Where the hell did this $1,000 come from? I didn't see where it came from, but I know where it came from. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Anybody have anything about that?
Yeah, it's funny how you highlighted that you and someone else on this call, like that's already what you know to look for. And for me, it's something new, and being something new, it's really exciting because it's been so easy to grow up just kind of seeing things in other people, especially my family. And then just being like, man, they really need to get that worked out. And like, once that's better, then like that will solve our thing. And so like this totally different perspective of seeing things and being like, whoa, what's there for me is like, it's just going to be a new way of living now for me.
What you got, Jaja? What you got?
The people who have spoken pretty much said everything, but I would just like to add that I appreciate this call. This conversation just serves us as a reminder of the powerful beings that we are, that we need do nothing to the outside world. We need but work in and out, and everything shifts. We're human beings, so of course that we're gonna have an emotional reaction, but sit with that emotion, let that dissipate, and then process it and see it as information after the emotions work through you and dissipates. See the information and recognize that's you, that is me internally. We have to get to that part. It's always me internally. So what do I have to do that? That's called accountability, and accountability is challenged. That our ego prevents that from time to time. Our ego makes us defend because we don't want to look ourselves as a bad person. But I think human beings have to understand it's not about being a bad person. It's about working out stuff. It's not, don't identify it as good or bad, because I think what a lot of us do, myself included, when something comes up, we judge. I judge myself like, oh man, I don't want to be judged as a bad person, so I'm gonna justify it, make excuses and stuff like that. So of course, you and I, T, what you and I have learned is that it's not really about that. There's no good or bad. It's just information. It's no good or bad. No label need to be put on it. Recognize your power as the image and likeness and work out your stuff.
But let me
Okay.
say, this conversation is enriching in so many ways. Again, this is summing up my week, and it's preparing me for this week to stay conscious. What I remember talking about to my friend was he was telling me about how he was at his son's basketball game, and how they didn't really have a game due to the weather, but they were able to do a scrimmage. They didn't have the the usual game, but they were able to do a scrimmage, and how all the men that were there stepped up. All the fathers that were there, they stepped up. How they were coaching their sons, how they were, just doing what was necessary. And what I landed on was like, yo, thank God, thank the Father, thank the Creator for Corona. It's bringing us to our senses. We're able to acknowledge the fact that we have life and have it abundantly. This conversation is really allowing us to build more of a stronger foundation for this generation. It is what it is, but when you look at it, you see the beauty of it all. It is allowing us to be intimate right now, So I'm very thankful for this time that we're in. And that's all I needed to say right there.
Tonya, I want to say something short about this.
Yeah, come on.
So thank you for that. You said thank you for Corona. I completely agree with it, and I'll tell you why I'm speaking up. I'm in Florida, but a lot of my family's in New York. I lost my father, who was 72 and healthy, jogging three miles every day in Prospect Park or whatever, Eastern Parkway. And I lost my grandmother, one after the other, his mother. And it was a big loss for my family because it was unexpected. And at the same time, you know, stuff like that happen.
First of all, I'm sorry, but I want to say that your father was a huge loss for the world.
Oh, you knew about him?
Yeah, come on. And then, you know, like for me, when I saw that news about your father, I felt the part of the universe that your father was holding together, I felt it disappear.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so many things happen in the world without Corona. So many tragedies happen all the time, and tragedies do something to the world. And I wish it wasn't my father. I wish no one had to. But now that it already happened, you have so many new things happen in the world to unite us all because of Corona. You know, regardless of what else is happening, there's a huge part that's being united right now. There's so many different types of situations coming together. I think I heard it once, but I like to say it's creative thinking as opposed to positive thinking. You find so many other things that are happening because of Corona. I mean, my life is, the quality of my life enhanced by a lot because of Corona. Last night I went to sleep with friends. I fell asleep. A lot of friends on Zoom. I'm in bed. You know, I know Zoom is not as personal, but there's so much I'm personally gaining out of Zoom. So I want to add the reason I spoke up is because I want to add to what you're saying. And even if people want to say, well, Corona caused so much, well, it caused a lot in my family. And still, I agree that Corona did a lot of good to the world too.
Yeah, and I think too, Corona is giving us an opportunity to really step up for each other, to really, really take that belt and tighten it and pull it all the way to that notch, like even to the level of uncomfortability a little bit, just to step up and be there for one another. That I have seen that happening, even though my conversation for today has something to do with lack of gratitude. I have seen people stepping up for themselves and each other in a way that they never have had to do before. It has definitely increased my game. Everybody I think on here, they know me, they know that I play the manifestation game very intensely. I thought that I had the manifestation game all the way together, but last week's call was about expansion. So no matter what you think you have or how long you've been doing something, there's always a place to expand to. And Corona definitely has helped me to increase my skills where the manifestation game is concerned. And I'll just put it out there about myself. Since the Corona started, I've been here with zero income. I hear all the people getting these fabulous checks and unemployment checks every week and all these and it's like, I'm sitting here waiting. So at the same time, I'm like, you can't wait. You got to jump in there and create for yourself. What are you going to do? How are you going to eat? How are you going to keep the lights on? You're doing nothing. You need to watch television. How are you going to pay for HBO and everything? COVID started when? In March? Here I am in July without a care in the world. I was in my car this morning. It's still there. It's not repoed. That's something to be grateful for. My car had gas. It was all the way up to full because I put it the other day. You know, that's a luxury. You know, my life is not skipping a beat. Like I got cell phone services working. I got internet. I'm grateful. How do you do that with zero income? How do you do that? So Corona helped me to up my manifestation game. Because how I'm doing it is I'm manifesting the funds as I need them, because funds comes from your consciousness. They should have never taught me that. They said funds don't come from jobs. It comes from your consciousness. So that's why I don't skip a beat when it's time for me to look at something, because I don't want to have anything interfering with my manifestation techniques. The minute you have something in there for you to do and you don't do it, or you drag your feet to do it, that's going to interfere with the exchange of energy, okay, that you have going on inside of your relationship with the universe.
No, that was well said. It's just a testament to your power, as I was saying earlier. You gave a perfect example. That's it. Thank you for that.
Yes, that works perfectly. I totally agree. It definitely helped me as well to manifest more, to go within, to check in faster too. I want to say that my check-ins probably used to be every 3 days. I put it on autopilot myself. Every 3 days you check in. Now I do a moment by moment check-in. That's what the pandemic did for me. I'm checking in the moments with Kim Sue. Kim Sue, how we doing? How we calibrating? We good? We good? We good? Sometimes I pass by a mirror. I'm like, you good? You know, it definitely did do that.
The universe will let you know whether or not you're good every second. I'll give you an example, right? So when in my coaching with people, I explain to them that synchronicity and creating synchronicity is important. So being able to keep a check on the synchronicity is also important. So one day I went to the Jamaican restaurant, and I said to the young lady, I said, I want to have some ackee and saltfish, but they always give you too much. So I said, I'm going to take a little small portion of rice and peas so that later I could eat the rest of it with the rice and peas. So they had some music playing in the shop and everything, some cool Jamaican music, you know, and I was jamming and everything. But the minute I said to the girl, I would like to have rice and peas, the song changed, and the song was saying rice and peas, give me some rice and peas. And I was like, what is this? You know, and then I was remembering that the day before I was in my house watching television, and I was supporting a lady over the phone having a baby. And when I hung up, I said, oh boy, I should have told her when she has the baby, don't stand in front of the refrigerator, right? Because of the cold. And the minute I looked at the TV, a lady went to a refrigerator and pulled open the refrigerator on the show that I was watching. So these are ways that you can see where you are synchronically, if that's a real word, because you know, y'all know me, I like making up my own shit. Excuse my French. So what does anybody have about that?
What's real in my world too is the connectivity. This right here, what we have going on right now, is a big deal, because you was talking about manifestation. You was talking about manifestation, and you were like, I need you to start manifesting. Sure enough, the next day, money started falling out of the sky for me. Basically, my t-shirt game started coming up. Money just started coming every which way. And I really, you know, money is not my cause and effect for living. However, I want to make sure that my art is being received in such a way. I just want to make a difference. I truly want to make my difference. And in order to make that difference, I'm going to need some financial stability. I'm looking forward to having an art studio for the youth here in South Carolina. So I need, you know, my people to move on it in such a way. So anyways, that conversation that we had, I felt like it brung forth that, okay, my movement is not in vain. I just got to keep the faith. I got to keep on moving towards what is necessary. I got to get up on my manifestation game. I feel like me being connected to you has, just really changed my world in a great way, you know, and that's it, Tanya.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet. Miss Brianna, you've been quiet for the last few weeks, and I've been allowing that. Come on here.
Hello, everyone. This whole conversation has been great, and I've been able to connect with each part of it, with the gratitude, being grateful, with the treating the people, teaching people how to treat you, how you show up in the world, as far as being the one to do all the giving, and you set the stage of, you know, you don't need anything from anybody else. And that showed up in my world this week, along with having gratitude for where I am right now, being appreciative. And also I agree with a young lady that just spoke, like being connected to you has opened up my world to be able to manifest certain things. At one point, I wasn't able to look at a broader picture. She used to tell me, you have to think bigger. You, Miss Tanya, tell me, you got to think bigger. You keep thinking small. And I have my own business. I'm a traveling stylist, and I've been doing it for 4 years. And I've always had this small mindset of things, not being able to think beyond. And I'm just sitting in the car yesterday, and I'm just sitting, and I'm trying to I'm creating my new world that I want. And just this time last year, I wasn't able to do that. I was only able to look at where I was at the moment, and not being able to put myself in that vibration to manifest and attract the certain things that I want. So I stayed there. So now I'm like opening up my way of thinking and being able to think and picture myself in a different space, in the space that I dream of, the space that I want. And yesterday I broke it down like, okay, well, I need to have this much money. And that's another thing she told me, you need to be specific about how much you need. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't want to ask for too much. I don't want to be greedy. But I actually did that yesterday. Okay, I need this amount of money this week. And in order for me to do that, I need to make this amount of money each day for 5 days. And I was able to actually physically, it was realistic to me. It's doable, you know what I mean? And I haven't been able to do that for years. And it's only been a couple of months of me working with you, Ms. Tanya. And my whole way of thinking has changed, and I've been able to manifest. My car broke down on me for 1 week, and I have a brand new car now. And I was able to manifest that because of Ms. Tanya. She taught me how to do that, you know. But had it been a couple years prior, I would have stressed out and been stuck without a car probably longer. But because I was thankful that I came to this space where I was without a car, and it helped me to create that reality of, okay, you need to manifest your new vehicle, see yourself in the vehicle. And what I did, I just started looking for new cars, even though I didn't know where I was going to pay a down payment. I didn't know where the money was going to come from. I didn't know how that was going to happen, but I'm going to search for a new car, and it's going to flow how it needs to flow. And it worked out. And I'm thankful for this space that we all are coming into. I don't mind sharing my Sundays with you guys and hearing you guys, your world, and how are you guys receiving things. I'm very grateful and appreciative.
Thank you so much. I'm really grateful to you, for you and your testimony and everything. And you know, what you guys are bringing me present to is something that I think I forgot for a little while. That when I was a Buddhist, right? Because I used to be a Buddhist for 16 years. And so in the Buddhism that I practice, we chanted. And so we would chant to align ourselves with the flow of the universe, because the Buddhism that I was a part of teaches you that there's a universal flow of energy, and it's our job to stay inside that flow, because the minute we take ourselves out of the flow, now we are almost like the fish swimming against the water. So they said that when you take yourself out of the flow, now you align yourselves with misfortune, you know, illness and those kind of things. So the chanting to stay inside the flow every day is important. So, but they said that the chanting, you could use that to align yourself with the things that would make your life a little easier. So they said that always chant for something that you need or want, doesn't matter whether it's big or small, a pair of shoes, a new car, anything that would help you and make your life easier. It's okay to chant for that, to connect with that, right? So they also said that when you come together with a group of people in your community, you should tell them what it is that would make your life easier, so that when they chant, they can chant also for you. So while you chanting, they also chanting, and all of that energy of the chanting toward what you're looking for is gonna draw what you're looking for to you. That's like a magic trick, right? They said that when more people are focusing their attention or their energy in a particular direction or on something, that's really gonna take place. So if you would have, like you, Kalisa, they said, because you feel connected to me, you feel like you're able to pull more or manifest more. Is because I'm always chanting, I'm always praying for you guys. You don't know that I'm doing that. I'm always doing that, for you to have everything. It's my little napkin. I always have a little napkin, but I'm always chanting and praying for you guys, loose, to have everything. But I don't tell you that. It's like my little, secret mama, grandma thing that I do for people that I love. You know what I'm saying? Destry, I love you to pieces. I want you to have everything. Everybody on this call, you're like my favorite people in the entire world, and that's why I wanted you near me. That's why I wanted to ask you to come on the call. Yeah. Thank you, you guys. Anybody have anything?
I have something about gratitude. So being in quarantine for the last, 3 months has given me some time to work on some things, as you know, Tanya, and some of these lessons have been harder than others to swallow, but what I've known, but what I had a better understanding is the importance of my family. Because I am in another state, away from pretty much all of my family, actually. And the connection with people, like, it has been good for some of my relationships as to my friends. We've gotten more phone calls, more FaceTime calls, more quality time together since we've been in quarantine. But I have not been able to see my folks. So last week, with my uncle's blessing, with my mask and my wipes, I hopped a flight to St. Louis. And when I got off the flight, my uncle hugged me. And it was the best thing, because I didn't realize how much I needed that until I was in his arms. And it's a trip that I make annually, so I wasn't sure I was going to be able to go, which made me sad. But it worked out so that I could go. He fed me well. I slept well. It was the best thing for my spirit that I was able to go. And so, sorry, I'm laying here because I have a headache. I've had it for a couple of hours, so that's why I'm all in a blankie. But I just wanted to share that.
Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for trusting the universe by taking that trip. That was an act of faith. I really want to applaud you for that. And I definitely want to talk to you after the call and everything. When I finish talking to you, the headache will be gone, I assure you. But anyway, George, how you doing? What do you have? Anything?
I wanted to talk about, how you was talking about giving and taking. Sometimes we can get caught in a trap of just giving. When we give, we can end up finding takers who are just there just to take. But also, it's sometimes it's selfish to just give and give and give, because you have to look at what need is it that you're meeting when you do that. Because when you're giving, and you don't give that other person an opportunity to give back to you. I think it was Denzel that said it, that I think he took someone out to lunch, and when he took the person out to lunch, and he always goes out and he's taking the people out to lunch so he can learn from them. And this is something that I do. So when I heard it, it resonated with me, which was like, he's like, he went to grab the check and the person smacked his hand and said, "Are you going to deprive me of the opportunity to give to you?" And his thing was like, well, I wanted to give because I'm bringing you to have lunch with you so I can actually get some information out of you and learn from you. And that's my way of, repaying you. And the person was like, no, it's about, giving me the opportunity to give to you. And if you don't open yourself up to that, allowing that, because some people feel that, some people will give, but won't allow themselves to receive. And you have to be able to have that flow go back, you got to have it go back and forth, because if not, you're cutting off the flow of the universe.
Thank you for that, George. I'm so happy. They always say iron sharpens iron, right? So that's why I love to have all my friends around me, that you all are professionals. You know what you're doing and everything. That's why I like to have you around me. And I appreciate all of you. And George, that was so on point. And it made me remember when Iyanla Vanzant, before she got famous, she used to come to City College, and we used to pay $10 to listen to the lecture. And then we used to be able to stand on this long line to buy the tape of the lecture for $10 also. And I remember one day she spoke of our relationship with money, and she mentioned something about you're blocking the blessings of the person who is trying to contribute to you if you don't allow them to contribute to you. So that goes right with everything you just now said. Yeah. And you know what that made me think of too? It made me think of church. And for a long time, I didn't understand that church was actually an opportunity to play that game or to put that game into operation for myself. Like this game of creating a flow or circulation with money. Because then one time I read Think and Grow Rich, and Napoleon Hill, he mentioned that whenever you give money, you set forth some type of energetic revolution where the money is going to generate itself and make its way back to you, but multiply at least 10 times before it does that. So then I started to see giving money or donating money, every time I had a chance to do that, I started seeing it as an opportunity to generate more money coming back toward myself. I mean, I wouldn't always give with that in mind, but sometimes if I needed something, I would give with that in mind. Does that make any sense? Yeah. Who has something about that?
Well, I read the book Think and Grow Rich also, and I love that book. And I think when you do it, especially when you're doing with Titan and things like that, is that you should do it not with having it in mind, but with it in your heart. And what I mean by that, because some people do it, is they do it, but they say, oh, I read Think and Grow Rich and I tried it and it didn't work. And the reason why is they're doing it expecting to receive, and you're not really doing it from the heart. Because when you do it from the heart, then you connect with the universe. If you're doing it just because I'm trying to get something, the universe sees that and it doesn't give it back to you.
And that piggybacked off what Joseph said earlier. What are your intentions when you're doing something, when you're interacting with the universe or any person or anything? What are your intentions? Because that's what you're going to yield. I love it.
Can I say something about that?
Absolutely.
So I learned not as a concept, but in real life a while back. So my father was also, he had a lot of integrity. So he did not accept the fact that I was married to a Catholic, and that was part of the religion. He was not allowed to accept it. But he did everything he can to be able to. So he went to another rabbi to get, an allotment, like you're allowed to, if this, he did whatever he can so he could accept. I didn't know he's doing that. To me, I accepted that no one in my family was at the wedding. And I didn't expect.
What religion is this that you're speaking about?
The Jewish, or it's not Jewish. It's a certain denomination within the Jewish. It's an ultra-Orthodox faction. It's the Hasidic in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. So, and I did the worst thing you can do within the religion, which is marry a non-Jewish woman and have a non-Jewish daughter, because they consider Judaism to be based on the mother. So if a girl marries a non-Jewish boy, it's not as bad, because the child stays Jewish according to the way they believe. So I did like the worst thing. And I lived in Crown Heights, working with a rabbi, helping, troubled teens, as Jessica, my wife, then was pregnant. And I never expected my father to even acknowledge Jessica, because that's he had integrity. That's the religion he went by, but he kept to everything, I understood it. He was programmed that way and there was no way out of it. But there was a time where for a while I was making him wrong. He should, I'm his son, all that stuff. But then there was a time that I took on one thing, and this is something to do with what George said. I took on accepting their non-acceptance. Accepting their non-acceptance the way it is, the way it isn't. And I took it on authentically, like accepting and not expecting anything back. because I notice when I apologize in order to get forgiveness, I don't get it. But if I apologize and I'm ready not to get forgiveness, it comes. And it doesn't interfere with my intention, even though I know it's going to come, because I know I'm ready to apologize, just to take responsibility. 5 years after I was with her, or when Jessica was pregnant, out of the blue, he invited us for the whole Passover holiday. I was like, what? That's like a miracle. My father is like, he's got this worldwide organization. If he accepts his son, it can affect his business. Didn't care. He invited us. And when we came, I didn't feel like he got permission from a rabbi, so therefore he did it, and he didn't do it with a full heart. He was there full-heartedly, and I could not believe it. And I say, although I don't know for sure, but I say when I gave up expecting his acceptance, when I accepted him the way he was, the way he wasn't, that came back. And that's what I mean also by that. And if I don't have a chance later, I just want to say, Tanya's like a sister. We went through a whole process together, and it was years back, like in 2011, and it's just, nothing changed between us. I still love you, and I'm so happy with what you're doing, and I'm also extremely grateful that I can contribute and that people can contribute back to me. Imagine I'm speaking, I love speaking, and no one's listening. So I really appreciate every one of you. It means a lot that I have people listening. I mean, to me, it's a gift. So I accept your listening.
Joseph, you know I love you so much, it's ridiculous. And, you know, thank you for that share. And thank you for being here. You know, I hope you continue to contribute to us and allow us to contribute to you. That was such a heartfelt share. Thank you. I'm happy that it turned out like that. I didn't know that, you know, what had happened, but thank you for giving me that. That's amazing. Without expectation. That's the thing. Okay, that's something I gotta work on. I haven't been able to get that yet. It's something I'm grappling with.
I want to thank you for one more thing. The way you said
Yeah.
at the beginning that without money,
Yeah.
you did something. I don't know, and it's not something I can say about myself. I'd be so scared I just give up. And I got to learn from you.
I got you. Give me a call. I got you all day.
Yeah, I heard you speaking on giving and church and giving. And I am a part of a church, and in reference to how you explained it in the giving process, and the reason why people give to the church is to get money back. You giving, but you get back, you know, because you're giving because you, I guess, believe in certain things and believe in what they're saying, and you will, you know, get that back in twofolds or whatever. So I did hear something in reference to giving. So that resonated with me. That stayed with me for a while. So yes.
That's nice. And we'll make sure you get the replay, but you know who speaks very powerfully about this is Reverend Ike. If you could go on YouTube and find like anything he says about money. So, okay, I know everybody's busy and I'm not gonna hold you. I know George always has something he does right after the call. We're complete. I'm gonna declare this call ended. So yeah, I got a YouTube channel and everything. You guys, if you can subscribe me on YouTube, I would love that. Okay, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be answering letters for people on YouTube. You can write me a letter asking me for advice so I can answer you on the YouTube channel. I'm not going to say anybody's name, but I find that most people in the whole world need the same advice. Somebody else could be looking at the letter saying, oh my God, I don't know who sent that letter in, but this is my exact situation. Help from listening to the letters that I answer from other people on the YouTube. Okay?